What's up, everyone? So this is going to be episode 5. I'm doing something a little bit different. I remember, if you recall, on episode 3, I had some friends on representing an organization called Sebastian Strong named Lauren and Diego. And in that episode, we talked about how we're going to be doing a weeks-long, 5-day-long kayak trip to the Keys and kayak from Key Largo to Key West. And the purpose of the organization Sebastian Strong was to raise money to fund pediatric cancer research. So that's the why. And we went into a lot of detail in that episode about sort of what the organization was, and I definitely encourage you to revisit that if you're hearing this and haven't listened to that yet. I just got back, so it's 11:02 p.m. Sunday, May 19th, and so as soon as this is done, I'm going to post it. So this is going to be like, because I said I would do it every other week, and that's been happening on Sunday, and so I've got to put one out tonight. So I figured it'd be kind of cool if I almost did like a, I guess we could say, like, journal video. I don't know what I would call this, but just, I guess, me recounting my experience of the past week. And so I might be taking some pauses as I'm like thinking about the experience in real time during this one. But I think it'll be fun. We're just trying stuff out for the sake of trying stuff out. / I knew I was going to be getting late tonight and I didn't have any other time to bring a guest on. So I was like, you know what? Let's just see if I can rock an episode solo here, and we'll get someone on next week. So, like I've been saying, just got back like 2 hours ago. Haven't even unpacked my suitcase. And so this trip that I just came back from is just now the past. So this is kind of just be me mulling over my experience. It's weird now that it's over. So I guess I'll go into a little bit more detail about what it was. So the premise, like I said earlier, kayak from Key Largo to Key West, 110 miles. We're doing it over 5 days. So Monday through Friday. I got into Miami on excuse me, Saturday of last week, and stayed with a couple of my friends, those friends being Lauren and Diego. And then Saturday, some of the other folks were arriving. One of the paddlers, Ryan, and road crew, Lila, arrived. And I had known Ryan previously from having him in class, and also we saw each other Avatar Way of Water. And that's where I met his wife, but just briefly. And so it's cool to getting to know them a little bit more. And yeah, so, and my friend Diego's brother, Doug, he arrived. And so, you start to kind of meet these people or re-meet some of these people that you haven't seen in a while. And so I think what was interesting is just as the time went on, just the group dynamic. And so, Sebastian Strong is led by Oscar Ortiz and his wife, Rosie. And so they're kind of like, they organize everything. This is their organization. And so they're kind of captains on this trip. And, Oscar was out on the water with us every day. So it was really cool to get to know him and, just hear his passion for the organization, which I'd heard, in previous discussions with him before meeting him in person. But I guess, like there's a difference between knowing and understanding, in the sense that, like, I knew we were raising money to fund research for pediatric cancer. And so that's a great cause. I knew that I really trusted the people involved in the organization, and, they had proven that. And so I was like super bought in, and, I believed in the caliber of all the people involved. And so I was excited. I was excited for the whole adventure, and I knew that going in. But now, having just experienced it and just now starting to think about it, is sort of what has happened. What just happened is settling in. I'm just you're starting to pull more and more meaning from the experience, even though I just got home from it. Now that I'm kind of reflecting and had kind of a long travel day to reflect. I had I bought the cheapest flight, and so I flew from Miami to Denver and had like a 4 hour, 5 hour layover, and then flew from Denver to Columbus. And so my Uber picked me up at 5:40 this morning. I'm recording this just past 11, so long day, and so just really just processing this all right now. But yeah, so it was super positive, the entire experience. I guess it's, some of these people I was closer with than others, and some of these people you're meeting with for the first time. And so like when you're on the water paddling, doing 20 some miles a day, you're getting to know each other's background a little bit, like with small talk, like, oh, hey, like that's just for the people that, you don't know. Cause sometimes there's day paddlers, sometimes there's people there for like 3 days. And then there's like 5 of us, 6 of us who are there for like all of it. And all 5 days, I mean. And so like you're kind of figuring out the vibe of the group each day. And so even though like when you're there, it's like, oh, you're excited to be part of this organization, and like, you're there for a good cause, there's also just the getting to know everyone phase. And so that was fun. And as the days passed, I was like, you really just start vibing with everyone because you're spending so much time, and you're also doing something sort of extreme and new for a lot of us. There's a lot of people whose first time it was paddling the 110 miles, and then some who were veterans among us. And so it's cool having different experience levels as well. So kind of there's people like, just you wait. And like while it was happening, I was like, everything was awesome, but like there's so much going on because you're just constantly paddling. So you're very much in the moment, like, where are we going? What kind of weather is there? And then you're also just thinking about stuff in your head as well. So, it's very meditative. I'm someone who practices meditation when I can. I used to practice it a lot more. I probably arguably need it now, or more now. Excuse me. So it's nice to be able to kind of have that alone time when you're on the water, and just to think about things. And and sometimes you're like thinking about important life stuff, and what kind of moves you want to make, or you're in your head, or it's just you're focused on like something that bothering the kayak, or any multitude of things you could be thinking about. But you can kind of just let your mind drift. And so I do enjoy that. But regardless, you're just always doing something. And so like some of the experience, I guess, hadn't sunk in because you're just so busy kind of doing new things for the first time and getting to know everyone. And that's, paddling and on the road crew. And that's all a lot of fun. I mean, that was for me just kind of what I'm getting to, is that was just so special. And that is kind of what I'm pulling out of this, is just the community. Like they talked about the community throughout the trip, and how that's what we were building. And I guess the community already existed. I was just getting more integrated into it with each day passing, just both experience wise as the day goes on and you get closer and closer to your end goal, and also just somewhat socially as you just kind of figure out who everyone is and get to know everyone. And the experience was amazing, and getting to know everyone was amazing. And so those two things together is more than the sum of the parts. Definitely. Everyone was just so welcoming and, very loving. I originally, my wife was going to go and we were going to bring our daughter, but just with her being my daughter being just so young, and my wife still like breastfeeding and having to do all that stuff, we were just like, maybe it's not the best idea for her to be a part of the road crew. And that was definitely the right move. But that being said, a lot of these people are here with their significant others, and so all that being said, they welcomed me in. I never felt like a fifth wheel or any sort of wheel of any kind. There was so much love and caring that I felt very much just welcomed. And I had some really solid relationships with some of the folks, namely Lauren and Diego, going into it. And so it was cool just to get to know both their families more and spend time with them and, all that. Plus, so the community plus the experience, and, something that is a part of both of those things is just the kids, So if you didn't know, I can't remember if we talked about it in the last episode, but when we finish the last mile of the 110 miles, we first stopped and we picked up all these kids who had or have pediatric cancer. Uh, and so you get to see all these just families and these kids, and they're just having a blast playing with each other. And you take them on on the last mile, everyone's loaded up. There's parents on the water, there's kids on the water. And then we finish at the yacht club, and there's a pool, and the kids are all playing in the pool, and it's just a fantastic day, and everyone's just having a great time, and you're getting to meet all of these, cool parents, and you know just more cool people. There's family members there at the very end, and everyone is just on the same page, and the celebration at the end was really something special. And yeah, overall just completely fulfilling. And that we still have until the end of May to raise funds, so I'll still be pushing for donations and all of that for sure. Getting real close to the goal. I'm personally trying to raise 10,000 by the end of May, so we got time, and I'm less than $1,000 away. So, we're going to get there. And that's also kind of what I want to talk about as well. Is just there were so many people that donated. I didn't get so close. There were some big donations as well. So I was just thrilled, and I appreciate the small ones just as much as the big ones, because you're like, I can only spare, this is what I can spare, but you gave it, and that's just as admirable, if not more admirable, just giving what you can. And to the people who donated a lot, thank you so much. But I want you to know that it is all going to a great cause. Getting to see all those kids at the end, and knowing that we can provide, with the right research, better treatment that's less harmful, less toxic, less deadly. It's sort of a no-brainer once you know that only the 4% of government research is, or only 4% of their cancer budget given by the government is for pediatric cancer research. Sorry. And yeah, that's just, it's not enough. It's not rare for the, it was something that we kind of talked about earlier. Was that today? No, that was yesterday. Is that it's not rare for them. That's kind of what we were talking about yesterday, is that pediatric cancer is rare, but for this community, for the parents, for the kids, it's every day. And so I think that really was driven home to me at the end. And we also kind of talked about it as a group a couple times. Well, we talked about it on Friday, it was a big part of the finish. We talked about it again on Saturday, just kind of going over that. And so that is definitely the biggest takeaway, is that, this is every day for these people, and we can just do better. Yeah, that's it. And we can do better. And, now that I know, and now that for those of you that, donated, you answered the call, and that's, I can't thank you all enough for helping me do that. And, we were talking more about next year, and people ask me to come back next year, and me wanting to come back next year. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is now something I get to be a part of. And so I am just so thankful for the community, and so thankful to have strengthened the relationships I already had and to build new ones that I'm excited to keep going. And I talked with Oscar. He wants to do more podcasts about Sebastian Strong, which I think would be excellent. We were talking about maybe doing one with the paddlers, one with the road crew, and then one with the parents. We'll see what happens. But I told Oscar that I was super, super down for that. And so hopefully, we'll work it out, and you'll be hearing more about the experience as we go. So I don't want to go into too much detail as far as like sort of that sort of thing goes, because there'd be people from that experience on it. So, but also just, I wanted to get my initial thoughts so that I can help better digest the experience and then contribute to the conversations going forward. I just had a long travel day, so I was like, ooh, I'm really starting to reflect on this experience right away and just how fun it was and how beautiful everything is. And so, if you listen to me and you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I'll be putting more photos up, and I took some GoPro footage. And so I'm going to start editing that sometime this week, definitely by Saturday, and, kind of make a little behind the scenes, not behind the scenes tone, but it'll just, I guess, a little movie that shows some of my perspective of the trip. That's better. That's a better way to say that, which I'm excited to do because I'm new to the GoPro. I took some footage a week before of me on a mini bike. I put like the GoPro on a on a helmet, and my dad had this little mini bike that I was cruising around Athens area with, and so that was a lot of fun. And I was hoping to do some editing on that as practice for this one, but I was just too busy, so I'm gonna be getting my real practice in on this Kayaking the Keys for Hope video that I'm gonna make. And I don't know if I'll put it on YouTube. I haven't put any of these on YouTube yet, which I need to do, but I don't know if I want to put the video of the trip on like a podcast, like on the same channel that I do the podcast from. I might just have that on like a personal channel. So we'll see. Something else that was totally awesome about the trip was just the road crew. I think I mentioned the road crew a little bit earlier, but just so you get a picture of what was going on behind the scenes, like when we're out paddling all day, the road crew is, moving luggage between the places we're staying at, whether it's like a hotel or a house or whatever. And they're getting us groceries and prepping breakfast, and, organizing all this stuff behind the scene, getting photos. That's what Lauren, who was on episode 3, is doing the whole time. She's got her camera and she's just sniping photos left and right. So we have so many cool photos in our Google Drive. I'm excited to see what, we end up doing with them. But some of the photos I've seen so far are just so much fun, and really just, you can see it on everyone's faces that they want to be there. And so it was super cool to have those moments captured. And I'm glad there's so many of them captured. Like, I feel like it was, from a photography standpoint, like super well documented. Then we also had little videos at the end of the day recapping what we did, which are on Facebook. You can go check them out. If you haven't followed Sebastian Strong on Facebook, all the trip stuff is going to be there. I'll be posting photos on my social media sites for sure of the trip. But, if you're not following them on any social media yet, give them a follow, and you can really start to be, immerse yourself in this community and this special cause that I know, that's kind of the goal, in addition to the fundraising, is just education. I knew pediatric cancer existed, but I didn't know anything about the old treatments or all that until I met Diego and, found out last year, before he went on the trip, what it was all about. And I was like, wait, what? Like, So that information just sits with you for a little while. And once you know that info, you're like, wait, for our kids, like, the next generation, we don't want, the more new treatments, the more safer treatments we can provide with more research, the better. It's tragic when anyone gets cancer. And so this is definitely not an argument for against funding any other sort of cancer research. It's all important. Like, cancer needs to go away in any form. So like I would, it's all cancer research is good. That being said, we have to do better for our kids, for the people that are going to inherit this place. And that is a main driver. I mean, I've always loved kids, but so that the cause is going to resonate with me regardless. But, my wife found out she was pregnant while they were on the trip last year. And, this was in the third episode podcast, but it's just so crazy that our friend Lauren was the first person my wife told. And so her and Diego knew that she was pregnant before I did. And then she did a little surprise when I came home. But so also just thinking about that, I've been a dad for 4.5 months, but the fact that I've known that a little girl was going to be, well, I didn't know she was going to be a girl at that time, but that little baby was going to, be a part of my life this time next year. And now to have that fully realized, and God forbid something like this would ever happen to her. And so there's just like, there's a million reasons why this cause, is easy to invest in emotionally. It's not hard to be like, yep, that's something that I think I should help. If I can help, I should be able to, contribute something, do my part in any sort of way. Yeah. Yep. Super, super, super special. I don't think I'm going to make this super long. Because I'm kind of tired and want to go to bed, but I wanted to get my thoughts out before I went to bed tonight and made sure I get a version of the podcast out as well. Like I said, every 2 weeks, baby. And there's some exciting guests coming up. I don't really do teasers too much, but I've been talking with a decent amount of folks, and I'm excited to get some more people on. So, but stay tuned for some other guests as well. But I appreciate everyone who's watching, and watching on Instagram, listening on Spotify and Apple Music. The Sebastian Strong stuff got the most plays on Instagram, like bar none. Those videos got the most plays on the Fowler and Friends Instagram. So I appreciate everyone for watching all that stuff and spreading and sharing. I know a lot of people were sharing the stories and all that, and that takes effort. That's part of it. Again, part of this is education. So anyways, that's all I got. Thank you all so much for listening, and see you on the